Good Shabbos, everyone. We begin our service on page 128, How Good It Is to Be Together, Hinei Ma Tov. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Together at the top of page 124. We entered the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. A beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within the human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. And the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayers. Every Sunday during religious school, thanks to our incredible new director, Elizabeth Block, the school is filled with joy and happiness, the excitement to learn, filled with 140 plus students. But it takes someone special to make sure when the kids have to use the restroom, there's someone there who comes every Sunday making sure that there's no tomfoolery, that they're behaving well. And she comes every Sunday, regardless of whether she makes sure that there's order on the third floor. So it's a great honor to welcome Marian Friedman to the Bima as she lights her Shabbat candles. $120.
Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav Metzivanu להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
For those who are able, we rise together for our Kiddush, top of page 123.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו מרצה בנו בשבת קודשו מאהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש שכל יציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
Everyone close their eyes as Cantor takes a quick drink of the Kiddush cup. L'chaim. Please be seated. Top of page 127, we continue together. There are days we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if we're a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act we care nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We continue with Psalm 95, 130.
לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים אשר בידו מחקרי ארץ ותועפות הרים לו אשר לא הים והוא עשהו ויבשת ידיו יצרו כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו אמר איתו בצאן ידו. On page 138, we've reached the pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat. Sing along with me, Lecha Dodi. Lecha לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור מדיבורך תשמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שמול תפארת ולתהילה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלחקי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר נמרי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise together to greet Shabbat HaMalkah.
אוי ושלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
The bottom page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We say right there 144 with our Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לאלה מן כל מחתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה, me'imeru Amen.
For those who are able, we rise together, 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada da da da, 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 yada da da da. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yada da da da, 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 yada da da da.
The top of page 149, we read together. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamriv Aravim. On the next page.
Ahavat olam et Yisrael, Amcha ahavtam, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochmeinu uvkumeinu, nasiach mechukecha, menismach b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו מאורך ימינו, ובהם נחגה יומם בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד, שם לעולם, לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The top of page 157 we read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of redemption and freedom, our Michamocha 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, מוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da.
The top of page 161, we read it together. That is beloved and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will, our Hashkivenu 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamiteinu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
The top of page 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru 162.
Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לתורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת מי נפש.
For those who are able, we rise together for our tefillah, the top of page 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה מצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Together at the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh ha-Shabbat. We continue with our Say 174.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amcha Yisrael U'tefilatam be'ahava tekambel Tehil ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael amecha El karov lechol kore'ah fenei elav hatecha mechoneinu shefoch ruchacha aleinu metechzena einenu meshuvcha leTzion berachamim Baruch atah Adonai המחזיר שכינתו
We continue together at the top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make content reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leo ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. בתום עיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private meditation. יהי רצון אמרי פי, יהי רצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. מאמרו, מאמרו,
This moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. We think of Linda Applebaum, Sophia Berry, Katie Bates, Donna Berman, Chaim Betran, Harold Seitlin, Deborah Shergois, Eliyahu Mizrahi Ben Chava, Ivy Chin, Orit Cohen, Brenda Friedman, Edward Goldberg, Howard Goldberg, Jeffrey Goldman, Sandra Goldman, Miriam Goldstein, Larry Hameson, Josie Hatfield, Ben Hazen, Evelyn Held, Donald Himmel, Edward Hyman, Corey Kessler, Sharon Lahan, Zane Monlick, Mark Petrosky, Matthew Phillips, Malka Bath Rachel, Cindy Routman, Susan Schumann, David Siegel, Leslie Simon, Pam Huff Simpson, Liz Slive, Laurel Smith, Christy St. Charles and Don St. Charles, Samantha Wallace, Brenda Weinstein, Jesse Weisberg, and Lisa Whitehead. For those who are here with us, if you wish to share a name out loud, we invite you to do so either rise or as my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, Mishaberach, middle 371.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor habracha le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishem beirach imoteinu mekor habracha la'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
Parshat Vayeshev in the book of Genesis, it keeps on this general theme, the brutal picture of the family home. As we saw in previous Parshiot, the tension between Jacob and Esau, and then here we are with Jacob's own children, the sibling tension. So our rabbis, when they use the spirit of Midrash, when they try to read beneath the text, they have difficulty trying to find the right answers, because when we look at the simple meaning of the text, Joseph really was direct with his brothers that they would worship him, and then his brothers conspired a plot to appear that he killed him, then send him off to slavery. And again, the rabbis have a hard time because this is such a difficult family dynamic. And here's a fascinating read from the great commentary Sforno. He explains how the brothers, who were so historically righteous, and I want to keep you in mind, they plotted to kill their younger brother, who were so historically righteous that their names would be engraved on the Kohen Gadol's breastplate. How could they ever have contemplated murder? When we look at the text, they clearly do so. They were so convinced that Joseph was the aggressor, they themselves were the victim. They were sure that he had to find fault with them, which then could report to their father in the hope that Jacob would have cursed them. If so, Joseph was a danger to his older brothers, and therefore the brothers had the right to defend themselves. When we look at Midrash and traditional commentary in our Torah study on Saturdays, a lot of us have difficulty as to why the rabbis can come up with such detours from the simple meaning of the texts. And my response is, well, they have historical precedent. But it's totally okay for us to say their drash, the interpretation, it doesn't so much flows with what we see as the simple meaning of the text. Brothers who are fighting amongst each other, and the pain that will bring to their father, as he experienced with the pain that he brought to his brother Esau. So it's a theme of tension. And I think as we look at this parasha, the themes of tension, it also ties into the Hanukkah story. There is a message for us, for this congregation. the people of Israel regarding this tension with the brothers and the Hanukkah story, and even as your rabbi. We understand the miracle of the Hanukkah is the unity that the Maccabees had. They were living in such a foreign, hostile environment, a ruler who was permitting such hate toward the Jewish people. The banning of celebrating Judaism's joys. He raided the coffers to the temple to fund military campaigns against the Romans. With the banning of celebrating the joys of Judaism, this is what Judah Maccabee used to unite the people. We're putting aside the 8 days of the oil, that's a midrash. But we learn from history, we learn from Josephus, we learn from the text, the book of Maccabees. Against all odds, Jews came together, and we think about it of 2 Jews, 3 opinions, they put it aside. They came together. They realized that such evil had to be eradicated from the land of Israel, and they formed a sacred bond. They got their name from our prayer, Michamocha Ba'alim Adonai. It's an acronym, the Maccabees. And when we think about it, such a small army defeated the Greek Seleucids. It's a miracle. That is the miracle. Put aside the dedication of the temple, it's that they were able to recapture the joys of Judaism. To me, that is the miracle of the Hanukkah story. But if we were in the movies, this is part 1. There is this historical sequel that is often overlooked when discussing this holiday. It is this outcome that truly pains us the most. After such unity, after such a defeat, the Maccabees tried to be priests and they tried to be kings. Such a union that is forbidden in Judaism. It only led to their corruption. As the once brave fighters, the Maccabees became the Hasmoneans. The brutal irony, they not only corrupted their own people, they even adopted Greek names. Alexander, Aristobulus. And just like from our Torah portion, there were such tensions about who would succeed that it led to a civil war in a way that parallels with our Torah portion. Hate among brothers, hate among Jew versus Jew, and such hatred toward another brother. Aristobulus II, this is his legacy. When we really think about it, he hated his brother so much that he reached out to General Pompey and said, please come to the gates of Jerusalem and serve as our peacekeepers. That's his legacy. Come to Judea, the gates are open, Pompey. By such action and hate toward his people, the Jews don't recapture their own sovereignty to the land of Israel 2,000 years later. So I want us to think about that. Such tension within the Jewish community allowed a continuation of our exile for 2,000 years. There's still a lesson here. I think the first lesson is the absolute obvious that just like in our family Sine, we're supposed to recognize the imperfection of families. We all have them. Or as we can say in the greater Jewish community, we can recognize the tension that exists among ourselves. Perhaps here in Birmingham, in North America, Chal v'chomer, even in Israel. The next lesson, even in such a heightened political fueled world in our country is in, can we go back to the idea of the Maccabees and find common ground on issues that can prevent such divisions and factions and unite us? And the final lesson. It feels that we are the Maccabees again, living in a world that has seen the rise of anti-Semitism. So what do we do to fight back? I want to say each pulpit rabbi develops their mission, their passion, in addition to the responsibility of the pastoral needs of the congregation, adult education, all the realms of the rabbinate. A rabbi develops a passion. An essential component of my rabbinate, the genesis of this was May 2021. During the rise of the war in Israel and the rise of anti-Semitism in this country. And this is when I would not held back discussing the issues that plagued our people. It was clear. It doesn't matter about movement, reform, conservative, orthodox. If we listen to our mystics, all of us, here down the street on Overton Road in Israel, we were all connected at that Sinai moment thousands of years ago, which is more important than any movement, any political party. It doesn't matter. We have that spiritual connection. Since May 2021, I've been pounding the podium, trying to awaken a Jewish community to see the challenges in which we faced. Sermon after sermon, even gave a controversial sermon about the ADL, and I'm still here. I wasn't going to hold back because I felt it was responsible. So here we are today. 2 weeks ago, I made a bold, visionary redirection for this congregation regarding and I'm going to own it, my strategic mission to go over the mountain to engage with new faith leaders that share a common bond with us. It was my hope, and it's happening, that they would recognize and empathize the pain that we experience and support us during times of difficulty. Also, this direction, after pleas from young families, for me to have a strong presence as to which our kids go to school. So 2 weeks ago, I asked the congregation, try not to yenta about the sermon. Call me. Make appointments with me regarding the new plan. Again, many congregants, especially our young families, they finally heard the sermon that they wanted to hear. And I will say that we will continue to go over the mountain. And it was such a beautiful afternoon as I taught Hanukkah at Crestline Elementary to my daughter's kindergarten class. I think for the first time in Jewish Birmingham, 2 rabbis' kids attend Crestline Elementary. But there's always the but. My delivery of the sermon, perhaps, my hubris, maybe the feel of the sudden U-turn regarding our participation in the Southside faith communities, it did not sit well with others. And it caused a reaction I truly did not see coming. 2 weeks ago, I tried to make my case, and since I started here in 2019 in July, and it's fair to say many of the Southside initiatives have been overly political and partisan. And I feel that if Temple Emanu-El were to engage in such agendas, it would only open us to greater controversies. And when I talked about my passion, I was also deeply troubled. With each call to action that I saw, the Jews were left out. I own my sermon. That's how I always do. I own my sermon 2 weeks ago. But I never want to be in a position as your rabbi where such a U-turn, such novelty, such uncertainty, and even anger because of a new direction, I never want to be in a position to change our history at a congregation that my wife, Lillian, twins not so much, dearly love. And therefore, al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for such a bold action that did not sit well with others, I apologize. So for the past 2 weeks, I have processed the meetings. At the same time, I've met with religious leaders here in the South Side that now recognize the pain we have experienced. But they asked me, after acknowledging my frustration, they want Temple Emanu-El to maintain its strong and committed presence. And here's where they challenge me. Even when there are agenda items and positions that are not within the scope of Judaism and certain movements of Christianity, don't give up. So therefore, in the essence of this Torah portion and our Hanukkah lesson, in no way do I want any fractioning. I know there will be differences of opinion, that's us. But I don't want the divisions. We've been through too much as a congregation. I'm proud that we have such a great team in place. Sooner or later, the first of the year, we've hired a synagogue administrator, great B'nai Mitzvah programs, adult ed, our religious school. We're doing such great things. We're not going to turn into a Hasmonean dynasty that continues to break things up. So tonight, moving forward, I will always be transparent once again. I will never stop fighting for the Jewish people. I will never stop fighting for this congregation, and I will always support our indigenous homeland. A lot of my work will be over the mountain. It will be engaging with new faith leaders and new initiatives where our kids go to school. And on this bima, I will not abandon our presence here in the South Side. There will be times where I strongly disagree with an initiative. There will be times, I'm planning on it, when I will probably be distraught when that quest for Jewish justice isn't on their agenda. But going on the offense doesn't mean that we are going to go on retreat. We will go over the mountain and we'll stay here in the South Side. So I guess what I learned the past few weeks is that we can do both. And your rabbi should do both. And I will. So it is fitting, the Midrash teaches us, is a Jew an alien anywhere? The answer, wherever the Jews go, God is with the Jews. So therefore, the lesson for all of us is, as long as we are in the diaspora, as long as we are here in Birmingham, if God goes with us wherever we are, so too does the rabbi, this congregation. We go everywhere. Here, over the mountain, wherever they need us. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together, Aleinu 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, מגורלנו ככל המונם. מה אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Edward Allenberg, Theo Alper, Flossie Baum, Joni Plaus-Baer, Jeanette Berman, Betty Birno, Sarah A. Bernstein, Henry Robert Bettinger, Harold Bowman Black Jr., Davida Sanborn Black, William Bremen, Ned Kaheen, Bernard M. Capper, Herman Jerome Cohn, Bert Cotton, Peggy Cowan, Samilia K. Davis, Fanny Dessler, Richard Allen Elkus, Frankie Engel, Julius Fies, Jerome A. Fox, Sylvia Gabbis, Joel Goldstein, Nathan Goldstein, Lawrence Harold Goldstein, Simon Goldstein, Barbara Goldstone, Saul Green Arthur Hagedorn, Bertha Hatman, Charlie Horn, Ann Goldblatt Kahn, Rosalie Kaltman, Abraham Cantor, Paula Carson, Fema Katz, Ethel P. Kaufman, Malcolm Mickey Cohn, Edward M. Lazarus, Tilly Lishkoff, Stella Hirsch Loeb, Sophie Malkov, William Marks, Hyman Miller, Jean Morgenbesser, Etta R. Meyerson, Henry Ofson, Miriam Goodman Phillips, Harry J. Plouse, Morris Q. Rogoff, Abraham Isaac Ruman, Aaron Rosemore. Christopher David Rosenbaum Callahan, Stanley Routman, Alan H. Sachs, Sarah Schneiderman, Rebecca Schulman, Adolf Spielberger, Carolyn Turner, Bertie M. Unger, Minnie Way Wald, Adolf Wheel Jr., Morris Wertheimer. Our heartfelt condolences in the recent passings of Bruce Fleisig, father of Glenn and grandfather of Emily and Julia. We rise together as united congregation, our mourners Kaddish, 598. Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach riotei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'kol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'yamru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach li'olam alamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kutsha.
Barichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dal min ram yelma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru.
Amen.
Osei Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru. Amen.
Ose Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Me'imeru. Amen.
Before we conclude with our final song, I know it's back-to-back weeks that I'm giving announcements. Don't look into it at all. I probably won't see a lot of faces. It's winter break. Have fun. But what time are Shabbat services the first Friday in January? 6 o'clock. We're going to pound it away. We have Torah study tomorrow at 9, followed by our Shabbat hike at 10. It'll be cold, but not Michigan cold, so we'll be fine. And Shabbat Shalom. Hit it.
Adon olam asher malach בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעד נשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יחיה בתפארה. ידדאי די 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 ידדאי ידדאי די ידדאי די ידדאי די די ידדאי די והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להחמירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום הקרא. ידדאי די די ידדאי ידדאי די די ידדאי די ידדאי ידדאי בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת ישן מאיירה, ועם רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. ידדאי די די ידדאי ידדאי די ידדאי די ידדאי Good Shabbos.